recording. There we go. Hi, everyone. I am Christine Whitmarsh, best-selling celebrity ghostwriter, and I am so excited to have my friend, Kelly Lucente. She is the CEO and founder of Retool Marketing, amongst many other things. And let me go ahead and introduce Miss Kelly to you. Kelly Lucente is CEO of Retool Marketing, a creative agency that focuses on growing brands, building strategies, and identifying positioning for entrepreneurs and small to mid-sized corporations. She also heads up Bubble Print Press, a book publishing company that offers full-service brand and marketing assistance for those who want to tell their story to the world. A 27-year veteran in both marketing and sales, Kelly has worked with Fortune 500 brands, most notably the Ryland Group, Pult Group, Remax, and Pearl Vision. She was one of the key marketing team members of Rollerblade, a company that helped build the inline skate industry to $1 billion and turned Rollerblade into a household name. She has also worked with Mattamy Homes, Canada's largest home builder. She created the children's educational product, Bye Bye Monster, that was featured in Neiman Marcus, and has partnered with celebrities such as Jenny McCarthy as a contributor to her Generation Rescue Foundation. She is an active member of the Children's Hospital and Clinics Foundation, is an advisory board member of the entrepreneurship class at the University of Minnesota Carlson School of Management, and is a mentor for the Minnesota Cup, a statewide new venture competition for entrepreneurs. Kelly has won both gold and silver NAHB Salesperson of the Year awards 4 times in consecutive years, and Dr. Toy Awards twice for product innovation. Her expertise is helping businesses attract the right customer, gain market share, and increase revenue. Kelly is here today to share some of the secret sauce that many of her clients fly all the way to Minnesota in minus 45 degrees wind chill to get, and I can attest to this as her client. Welcome, all join me in welcoming Kelly.
Hi,
we're here. All right. Well, thank you for being here. This is your first blab, I understand.
This is my first lab, so I'll be taking some notes myself. I'm excited to see how this all unfolds.
Yes, I have this vision for you. Brand blab with Kelly. This could be your talk show, your own view.
That's awesome.
All right. So let's get right into it. So I already read your bio, and I was going to do a quick recap of how you and I met.
Yes, that would be fun.
It's something that's actually happening this week out in Dallas, the eWomen International Business Expo and Conference. And I am the kind of geek that does my homework before I go to conferences. And I get to know all the speakers, the breakout speakers, the keynote. And I read all about you. And this was the time where I was just starting my obsession with this word called brand. And I saw you in the program and I said, I need to know her. So I stalked you, I think, a little bit.
I'm glad you did.
I stalked you. I went to your breakout, and I ended up going to your mastermind, and I think we've been friends ever since. A lot of it founded on our geekiness over the word brand.
Yes, I love that. Well, and other things.
Absolutely. So what do you remember your impression of this whole thing, that I was stalking you, or did it not come off that way?
No, I do not remember that you stalked me, although I do remember you were the most studious in the class. As you know, typically when I speak in front of groups, I lead with, I'm not a professional speaker. I just have some really important things to tell you. And it's really rapid fire information. And you were judiciously taking notes and actually implemented in real time a lot of the stuff that I shared, which I thought was extremely impressive, because a lot of us are procrastinators, right? So if we attend these conferences, we're really jacked up while we're there, we're excited, we're taking our notes, and we have every good intention to implement when we leave and get back to our offices. And then, you know, life takes over, the notes wind up on a shelf somewhere, and nothing ever happens. You are not wired that way, which is really refreshing. Because I'm not either. So we are kind of a sisterhood that way, but also because we always wear hats, and I'm surprised we aren't wearing them today.
I know, this is strange. We're both hatless, and we're like the hat sisters. This is strange.
I know, I feel naked.
Oh my gosh. We'll have to have a hat shopping trip next time in Minnesota. Yeah, like I was saying in the introduction, I'm one of the people that has traveled to 45 degrees minus wind chill, all that in Minnesota to work with Kelly. And it's worth it. And
it is worth it. You know, I think that we get a bad rap here in Minneapolis. Everybody thinks it is so wickedly cold. And I joke that honestly, it's only cold probably 6 to 8 weeks out of the entire year. And then we are like the movie Grumpy Old Men, where we get 4 full, robust seasons. And I think we're a really well-kept secret, which I kind of like. But, you know, people sit there and go, oh, no, you know, we can't fly there. We're going to freeze our buns off, which is not the case. As a matter of fact, it's 84 today and sunny and beautiful. And I should have a fishing pole out and standing on a dock somewhere fishing. That's what should be happening when I'm with you.
I have seen pictures of you gutting fish. Yes. That makes you, yeah.
Christine, someone's got to do it. Okay. This is what I'm so into the divide and conquer and everybody take their fair share of responsibilities, but someone's got to get the stuff done. You know what I'm saying?
Which is kind of how you approach branding. So that brings up this word that we keep using and that I've been saying at the beginning, this word brand. So for those who don't know, or actually even if they do think they know about what brand is, they might not until they hear it from you. What is brand?
So branding gets a bad rap too, as well as the state of Minnesota, which is lots of people think it's a logo. And it isn't. That's not even remotely close. People think maybe it's a logo, it's a color palette, it's a a product in and of itself, and that's not true. Brand is the feeling, the gut reaction, the impression that we leave with our target audience about a product, a service, a company, or a person. So believe it or not, we're walking around and we have our own personal brand, whether we do anything about it or not, because people are making judgments, they're having perceptions about us, and they're making decisions as a result of those feelings. And branding and brand is a way to articulate it both visually and verbally, right? Is to package it in such a way that you're able to have a really strong and intentional point of view, so that will resonate with an audience of people who then become your raving fans.
Yes. That's awesome. I love it. Branding and Minnesota both get a bad rap.
Yeah.
What do Minnesota and branding have in common?
Yes.
I'm just adding this here. And so the next thing, because here we have conversations about this all the time about branding. So I feel the world up to speed here with what it's like to know Kelly and Christine on a daily basis.
Right. Never a dull moment.
Yes. So since knowing you, I've obviously gotten quite the education about how brand can make or break your bottom line, but it seems like many other small businesses just aren't getting it, even now, several years into what I consider the brand phenomenon. What is it that you think is really a block, especially for solopreneurs, smaller size entrepreneurs and small businesses when it comes to their brand?
Mm-hmm. Well, branding is misunderstood, as I earlier described. And as a result, people, small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, they spend money where they want to spend money on their business, okay? Rarely do I see a small business owner, really small, solopreneur primarily, have a vetted business plan, that they are actually working, that they actually work the plan on a regular basis, that they actually have a marketing budget, that they have a sales plan. I rarely see those core business structural components in place. As a result, we're oftentimes operating in a reactive mode, right? Where you get up every day and you say, I think I'm going to accomplish this handful of things. You write down your little to-do list and you start attacking it. And then we get sort of sucked into the romantic social media world, and next thing you know, we're 4 hours gone and all we've been doing is, surfing the web. So with regard to branding, it falls in the marketing bucket, really. And as a result, marketing is soft. And what I mean by that is if you buy a Facebook ad, for example, you know how many impressions, because they'll tell you that. You'll know how many people clicked through, and you can measure those. You can measure them. And then based on how much you spend on that ad, you can go back and do another calculation and establish how many dollars did it really cost you for that ad? How many dollars did it cost to make that impression? With branding, it's not that easy to tie the result back to ROI. And so what happens is we say, you know what, we don't really need it. First of all, because I don't really understand it. But second of all, how am I really going to make money from branding? You know, just because my stuff looks good, it sounds good, it feels good, I just don't really understand how that at the end of the day is going to make me money. And I battle all day, every day on that. And what I share with people who will give me a few minutes of their time is, you will be remiss if you do not invest a significant amount of your business time devoted to your brand, because your brand is it. Like, that's it. Your brand will be the deciding factor on whether or not someone buys what you're selling. And here's why. Because the world is filled with competition. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to give you an example. I have two friends who sell Isogenics. Isogenics is a health and wellness product. You drink the stuff, right? Yep. I met with my first friend on a Tuesday. This actually really happened. Met with her on a Tuesday, and she wanted to pick my brain about how she can differentiate herself in the space, because there are a lot of reps who sell Isogenics products. And so I was sharing with her that she really has an uphill battle, because she has got to set herself apart. She has to differentiate herself, because we're comparing something apples to apples. Mm-hmm. In other words, if you have product A and it's the same price, why would I buy from one person over another? Right? Yep. I mean, I can write the check and get the result, get the solution, but why would I pick one company or person over another? That's branding. Yes. That's differentiation. That's positioning. Mm-hmm. And so Thursday, I meet with another gal who also sells the Isogenics product. Their messages, their point of view, the things that they said to me were completely different. Mm-hmm. They didn't even realize they were doing it. Wow. I did not buy from the Tuesday girl, but believe it or not, I bought from the Thursday girl.
Wow. Same product.
Same product, same price.
That's brand.
That is brand. Yeah. And it's very powerful. I mean, if you look at, for example, the difference between Tiffany and Walmart, mm-hmm. Okay, you can command a higher price if it has a Tiffany brand on it than it does the generic Walmart brand. Would you not agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So as a result, then their branding dictates their price point. So if you get a pair of solid gold earrings and they look exactly the same, let's say they're these earrings. Okay. Mm-hmm. So these are silver. Let's say they're these. I would pay probably 6 times the amount of money if these were a Tiffany brand than they were at the jewelry department at Walmart.
Yeah.
So brand is a big deal.
And that's really interesting, because we hear, especially as entrepreneurs and business owners, other people, they're always discussing this idea of, how do I raise my prices? How do I charge worth and value? And they're thinking about the pricing and the selling and whatever, the mindset involved in raising your prices and really charging your worth. It's really interesting that what you just said, which is obviously such a key component of that, isn't really mentioned in that conversation a whole lot.
No, people are arbitrarily priced. They're like, well, so-and-so who does the exact same thing prices their stuff at this. I think I'll price it at that. Well, but what value do you bring? So I'll give you one more example. The other example is I have a client who's a relationship coach, okay? And I think Deb's trying to get on, so I'm not sure how we add her. But anyway, so I have a friend who's a relationship coach, and I say, tell me how you're different. Why would somebody hire you versus anybody else who does what you do? And she said, well, nobody does what I do, right? And I'm going, oh, no. Let's run a scenario. Let's say I want a boyfriend, okay? The solution is the boyfriend. So I'm going to write a check to get myself a boyfriend. Where am I going to do this? Well, I could write my check to my client/friend and have her find the candidates. I can write a check to Match.com and surf the whole arsenal of people and pick one from there. Or I can write my check to the bartender and I can wait for candidates to approach me. The solution is the same, right? The solution is the same, but the difference is the experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's try and find Deb.
Oh yeah, and I was just I put a little note there or whatever, and I think Deb, I think you need to request to be in the hot seat if you want to do that, and we can continue.
Okay. Request to be in the hot seat. Okay, let's see.
He's here in the room. We can keep on chatting though until that happens.
Yeah.
Be able to do that the way that I let you in. This is cool.
All right. Let's see if she pops open. Then can she choose that?
I think she can request to be in it because I don't have it locked. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fairly new to Blab. But
yes, I know, this is kind of exciting.
This is once again a conversation that's representative of the friendship of Christine and Kelly.
Yes, we hang out a lot. We go on the road together. We're great roommates.
Yep. Talking about brand. So other ways, yeah, speaking, I've worked with you obviously on my branding, and then just a quick introduction of myself for those who don't know. I help people write their books from development all the way through publishing and promotion. And I like to be the kind of go-to person when someone has it in their head that they want to write a book. And Kelly last year, towards the end of last year, got it in her head that she wanted to write a book. So she came to me. So tell me, Kelly, what got that idea into your head that you should write a book about branding?
Well, for the past 3 years or so, a lot of people who cross my path are shocked and awed by what I share, because the collective conscience is I had no flipping idea, right? Like I had no idea. And then they say, where do I go? Now that I understand it, where do I go and learn about all these things you told me I need to be aware of? And there wasn't a one-stop resource. There just isn't. There's golden nuggets sprinkled all over the world, but unless you know, you don't know what to ask, how can you find the resource? And so for 3 years, I just did not have the time. I pushed it away. And then you came to Minneapolis. And I made a really, really big decision based on what was happening in my life, which was my only child by design had just gone to college. So he was a freshman at college. And so I found myself with little pockets of extra time that I never had before for the past 20 years. And so I looked at, you were here and we were working, and then that was on November 1st. And I looked at the calendar and I said, here's the deal. I'm gonna write this book. I have to do it this month. I have 9 days in the month of November with nothing on it. They were consecutive Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And I said, you need to help me put together a plan and architect how I'm going to get this book done in those 9 days. And so with your help, we wrote the master plan. You left town, I went to work, and the beautiful thing about it, and I think the only reason that we were successful is because you were on the heels of my chapters. And I think that it was really, really helpful as a developmental editor to have that extra set of eyes and a brain, a spare brain, because when you're writing, right, and you're knee deep in this content, I think it would be really challenging. Well, it would be for me to go back. So if you fast forward through your chapters and then you go back to fix or change, I think it's really hard to get back in that zone. And so we just were clipping along and we did it. We wrote 52,000 words in 9 days, and we launched 90 days later, and there you go.
You're the record holder, 9 days. All our book clients out there, I can't do it. I don't have time. 9 days.
Yeah, 9 days. And it was no joke. We hit it in 9 days. We didn't go over. That is not an exaggeration. As a matter of fact, my book publisher said it can't be done. You cannot put out a good work product in 9 days. And I said, watch me.
Yeah, you're the person you don't say that to.
No, and I wrote it. I wrote it specifically for the entrepreneur, thinking that it would be a great resource for them. And what I'm finding is not only is it helping them, but it's helping C-level execs in corporations, which I hadn't planned on. I feared it would be a little bit rudimentary in some ways, but they are getting a kick out of it. They're learning a ton, and they ironically are gifting it to their executives, expecting them to read it as part of a required course, strangely.
That is awesome. And that's the thing I wanted to point out. I mean, we hear 9 days, 9 days, and I want to point out this is a super high quality book that is full of information. So this isn't just whipped out a book and hope for the best. This is as thorough with the same high level design, illustrations, professionalism, polished editing, the same quality that you'd expect if she'd worked on it for 6 months.
You know, true. And you know, it also helps that I have a graphic designer on staff. It helps that I am a creative director myself, because as I was writing, in my mind, I visualized the supporting images. I really, really wanted this book to be easily digested because it's very comprehensive and somewhat heady. It's hard. It's hard to get through the material. It's like a college course, honestly. And as a result, because most of us are visual learners, I needed a lot of supporting images. So there's about 150 images there. So it's fun. And it's in my voice. So I know that I'm not supposed to do this, but a lot of my sentences start with a preposition.
I think they end with them too. Oh, good.
Yes.
Well, that's good. And hold the book cover up so everybody can see it. Especially with your design sense.
It's a play on words. The idea is, and the reason that there's the rear end of a cow on the cover and the head on the back was by design. The word branding started as a result of, back in the olden days, you trying to tell your cattle apart from your neighbors. And what they did is they would create a branded iron, and they would brand the rear end of their cows. And then as they were roaming the fields, they could check each brand to see whose cow belonged to who. So moo, obviously, is that play on words. And then moolah, representing money, right? Because it's all about how do we make money through brand. And the GY, moolah G, is sort of the art and science behind branding. I cannot make that thing turn off. Why would anyone in my house answer the phone?
This is real life right here.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, so that's the story behind the name. It's actually a larger story in the book. It's right away, so it makes sense to people. But I purposefully made the name of the book a little bit disruptive, because that's one of my signature things. If you hire me, you won't get vanilla. I am a disruptor. I like to do things that are very unexpected for my clients, and that's kind of my thing. Another example of that would be the business cards that I create for my clients. They are European sized. They aren't standard size business card. And as a matter of fact, I think I might be able to show you an example here. Let's see. So this is my business card, right? Right? It's very, very heavy cardstock. You can't tell, but there is a strip of color down the middle, which is red, which is really kind of cool. But this is European size. And the difference is, if this is a regular business card, right, is if you hold it up, see the difference in size here, and see the difference in size here?
Yeah.
Right? Now, there isn't a whole lot of difference. So if you hold them up side by side, you can't barely tell. But when you have the card in your hand, you know something's off. You know there's something weird about it. You can't put your finger on it because subconsciously you just don't even, that's not registering. The size of it isn't registering because it's so nominal. But it's something that is a conversation starter, specifically around it being tactile, right? So people are touching it, they're manipulating it. And oftentimes when I throw my business card in the fishbowl to be included in a drawing to win, I usually get picked, because as they're rifling around in the fishbowl, they're like, ooh, what is this?
Free stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I think we're the only ones here anyway. I'm going to hit the pause recording for just 1 second here. And we're back. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to talk talk to you about that we were talking about personally recently is the idea of vanity marketing and vanity efforts that we make in our businesses, because there's so many, especially when it comes to marketing and branding and websites and logo. And there's a lot of things that I think business owners psychologically say, that's just a vanity investment. I'm never going to see it again. So what's the point? So I think maybe that could be the confusion of they really don't understand that branding shouldn't be a vanity investment. In fact, you almost insist that there's ROI for your clients. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, where, you know, the psychological mindset of I'm just going to light some money on fire to build a website for my business.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part. That you let the what?
That the psychological mindset that many small business owners have, where I'm just going to light some money on fire and build a website for my business and do all this stuff, but I really realistically don't expect any money to come back, versus what you do, which is, you know, you are making an investment. You know, we make an investment with you to make damn well sure that there is ROI.
So people don't tie branding to sales. Like I said, they think it's a marketing thing. And here's the bottom line. If you're in business, you're in the sales business. You've got to sell something in order to make money. You have to actually be transactional, okay? But there aren't many of us walking the planet who are really, really naturally good at sales. It's a learned skill for a lot of us. We piggyback off of maybe other people's ideas or things that have worked for them. But there's only a small percentage of us who just could sell ice to Eskimos, right? Or a concept on a napkin. And so then what happens to the rest of us? If you don't have tools in place to make it really, really easy for your customer to make a buying decision, then it is a straight uphill climb both ways to and from school, like you heard from your grandfather, to try and convert a sale. And imagine, take it a few steps further. Let's say you're just not naturally gifted at sales. So people are self-selecting in and out to say, look, I have a problem that I need a solution for. I need a coach, or I need a weight loss solution, or whatever it is that they need to purchase. The consumer today is buying on experience, meaning they want an experiential thing happening. They want that transaction to be more than just I receive a service or a good. They want an experience. Okay, so then how do you share with your audience that the experience with you is like no other? Okay, so let's say you just slap up a website, you use a cheap, template, you do a logo, 99 designs, whatever, Fiverr, you're kind of doing things on the cheap because you just got a launch. That's fine for a while, but your client, believe it or not, is savvy. All right, they have an expectation level because their money is precious to them, and so they want to work with somebody, a person that they know, like, and trust, but also a brand that they know, like, and trust. Well, a brand needs to be defined. So if you just don't give it any attention, then your competition, who does, is going to swoop in and take your market share. So really, the branding effort is about connecting the dots for your customer, right? Because it's a no till it's a yes. Think about when you go buy a car. That one's blue, I wanted red. That's a no. I need 4-wheel drive. That's a no. I need this branded car, like I need an SUV versus a coupe. And you're doing this process of elimination in your mind until you get to the yes. Branding tries to eliminate as many no's as humanly possible organically. Okay, so it's all about eliminating the no's so that your client starts doing this. Instead of, whoa, I don't know, like, I need to think about it. The dots aren't connecting for me. I'm not feeling compelled. Okay, well, you're either really, really good at sales and you don't need any of it, or you're not good at sales and you need a boost. And the boost comes in the form of branding, positioning, messaging, imagery that supports all of the words that you use, because most people are visual learners, right? It has to feel good to your audience, and it has to resonate in such a way that they say, I'm pulling out my pen, I'm going to write a check to you. Like, you've got my answer, you're my solution. I trust the process. I think you're awesome sauce, right? That's all branding. It's all branding. Now, most people don't think that their kid is ugly. And what I mean by that is, you birth this brilliant idea and you think, oh my gosh, I am so proud of this, right? but you covet it and you white knuckle it in such a way that you don't let it breathe and you don't let it grow. And believe it or not, your audience decides, not you. So if you have a preference, a personal preference on something, I'll give you one last example. There's a gal that I know who sells a pretty heady service. And she only had about 10 or 15% male clients. She said, I don't understand this, right? It should be a 50-50 split or a 75-25 split to the guys, really, if you think about it, based on what it is that I deliver. I can't understand why the guys aren't getting on board with me, right? Like, I'm legit. And I said, it's because your entire brand identity is pink. You wear pink, you love pink, you lead with pink, everything about you is pink. Pink does not resonate typically with the male audience. So if you neutralize your palette, now all of a sudden you are going to be much more appealing to the male audience, and you haven't done anything. You haven't done your sales pitch different, nothing. All you've done is change color palette. She did, and it worked. So, you know, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. Sometimes it's worthwhile bringing in some kind of a professional who has a background in what I do, right? I mean, I would never have attempted to write my book without calling you. Never. I'm not a writer. I mean, I successfully wrote a piece of work, but I certainly couldn't have done it in a silo, right? You can't do it alone. And I just think that people are missing huge opportunities with simply giving a little bit of time to their brand will then save them a whole lot of time in turning themselves inside out, trying to convince an audience that they're relevant.
You know, and what I really love about this is what you're saying, how it's like this secret turbo-powered selling tool that's completely non-selling. So people that do, business owners that aren't completely in love with cold calling and, you know, networking situations, always traveling to conferences, with a strong brand, it's like you get to cheat on the sales side. You have this extra, you have like a wingman that is selling for you, and you don't have to be doing, you know, such aggressive sales and cold calling and events and everything like that, because your brand is selling for you. So that's really cool for people who really are in love with the sales.
How many times have you heard in a room someone say, oh, I just love the hunt, I love the kill, right? Like, all I want to do is sell. I want to just talk that person into what it is that I do, and then I'm just going to move on to the next person. No, most of us are very intimidated by the ask. We will dance around it, and we will not ask for the sale. We won't do it. I'm like, then why force yourself to ask? Why don't you try it a different way? Let the brand ask for you.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That is the coolest perspective I've ever heard on brand. Let the brand let the brand do your ask for you. That's the message of today. And if people want to contact you, whether it's for a consultation, to learn more about brand, to learn more about Minnesota,
well, the best way is probably going to either of my two websites, retoolmarketing.com, which is RETOOL marketing, all one word.com, or kellylucente.com. That's Kelly with a Y, LUCENTE.com.
There we go.
That's awesome.
It's a matter of public record now. Noted. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. This has been awesome chatting about brand with you. Hope to do it again at some point in the near future. I think we got the hang of this thing. So thank you, everybody that's listening to this later on. And this is Christine Whitmarsh. Christine Inc. is what they call me. And we'll see you next time.